Well, I Want to Know What Love Is was something that it started off as more of a, on a personal level. I guess I'd been through a lot of relationships that, eventually had failed, and still searching for something that would really last, endure. And that sort of took a life of its own as well, and then became more of a universal sort of feeling, and I kind of adjusted that during that song, during the recording of it, and ended up putting a gospel choir on it, and realized suddenly that I'd written sort of almost a spiritual song, or almost a gospel song, if you like. Sometimes, as I said, you feel like you have nothing to do with it, really. You're just putting it down on paper or coming up with a melody that will bring the meaning of the song out, bring the emotion out in the song.
There's a story that the president of your record company cried when he first heard the song. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, that's true. That was Ahmet Ertegun. Part of my dream at the beginning was to be on that label, to be on Atlantic Records, because of the heritage that the label had, from all the R&B stars of the 50s, people like Ray Charles and Aretha Franklin.
Oh, yeah.
Meant so much to me in my growing up in music, So to have Ahmet Ertegun, who had basically been a part of all that magical era, and to be such a personage, who I respected and looked up to have him come into the studio, and I just took him aside and I said, I have a song to play you, Ahmet, and just took him into the studio, and we sat there in two chairs, and I put the song on, and halfway through I looked over, and indeed there were tears coming out of his eyes, and I thought, wow, I think this is a major moment for me. I've been able to impress this man who has heard some of the best and produced some of the best music in the world, and here he is, and I've reached him emotionally, and by the end of the song we were both in tears. It's wonderful moments like that. They're just very meaningful.
What do you think of the Mariah Carey version of that song?
Well, I think she's actually retained the integrity of the song. She's, the arrangement is very similar to the original, so they haven't really, let's say, tampered with the song too much, and I think she's captured a certain emotional thing with that feeling. It's always flattering to have people cover your songs. Sometimes not so flattering, but depending on who it is. But I think she's put a lot of emotion into it, and you can feel that she's gotten inside of the song.